there is no lights, there is no fuel, students are at home on strike. Hello guys, how are you doing today, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, my name is Bukola, and on this channel I discuss everything lifestyle, motivation, workplace navigation, and anything that comes to my mind really. Today I want to speak on the state of the nation. Fellow Nigerians, how are you coping? How are you doing? How's your mental health in these hard times? Did I say in these dark times? Because there is no lights, there is no fuel, students are at home on strike. How are you guys coping? Because I don't know if I'm doing very well, but I'm trying my best, especially with the fact that there is no light and I work remotely and I need light to get a lot of things done, to do my job. I need light. But you see, there's this fear that grips me every time I look at my battery, my laptop battery's percentage, and it's going to like maybe 50, 30, and I'm still not seeing any sign of light being restored or power coming back on. I just get gripped by this anxiety, and I'm like, God, please let them just bring light. And I can say categorically that this decreases my productivity because it takes my mind off maybe whatever I'm working on presently, and I start beginning to, I start thinking about what's going to happen with work now. How will I finish this task? How will I this, that? And with remote work, your efforts don't really count, if I can say it that way. The only way that your supervisor or people at work knows that you're working is when you're inputting, when you're giving them results, like when you're giving feedback on the task that you're doing. When there is output, that's the only time you have worked. Every other time, maybe you're just assumed that you're just at home lounging. So it doubles the stress, because it sounds like as though there are excuses, like because there's no light, that's why I'm unable to deliver this project within the timeline, that's why I'm unable to deliver this task within the timeline. They sound like excuses. Stressful mentally, working from home and having to deal with this no power of a thing, of this power, what's it called, grids collapsing. I just hope that the discos and the Chenkos and the governments, that's the federal government, I hope they know what they are doing, and I hope they come to grasp with the fact that we just need power. So please, they should just give us power, because getting fuel, getting petrol is a bit difficult these days. I don't know how it is in your areas, but I think that things are beginning to open up, so I think they are not as difficult. It's not as difficult to get fuel as it was maybe some couple of weeks ago. Now I can say that the filling stations are semi-open to selling fuel to you at any point in time now. I know that during that fuel scarcity period, it was terribly bad. People had to park their cars at filling stations overnight. You have to pay fuel attendants. In fact, they were the big boys in town. You have to pay fuel attendants to access into the filling station to fill your car. In fact, I also heard that, because I don't have a car, so I also heard that you have to take your kegs into the filling station. They were not directly selling into cars. And I think I experienced it last month when I went to Ogun State, and the bus that took me stopped on the main road safe to go and carry keg and also to buy fuel. Nigerians, honestly, we're trying, and I think we should talk about our mental health. I think we should all have a sounding board. We should all have people that we can call and just lay our issues on, or we should have people that we can call and speak to and say, things are hard, and we should have people in our corners that can make us laugh and make light of all these problems, because it can be very, very tiring. Right now, I don't know how I feel about this country. Right now, I don't know if I'm a patriotic citizen of this country, and believe me, I am usually that person. Traveled to Egypt. During my trip, I met somebody in the bus, and she was coming back from school. She had her luggage, everything, and I was like, I thought she had just, we got into a conversation and she was telling me, oh, that I'm just coming back from school. And I was like, oh, congratulations, because I thought she had just graduated and she was coming home. I told you she was coming home because of ASUU strike. I mean, that was the first time I heard of it. I'm like, ASUU is going on strike again? And she said, yes. And according to her, this is her 5th year in school and she's in 300 level. And her course is actually 5 years. So if ASUU strike and all of those nonsense have actually not happened, she should be graduating this year. Now, how hard it is to meet the demands of ASUU, I still cannot understand. But then let's just hope and pray that this ASUU strike comes to an end. Let's hope and pray that it does not really extend to May, as ASUU have stated, because 2 whole months again doing nothing at all at home. Guys, we're just in March. There's the whole of April, there's the whole of May that these guys will have to stay at home. It's very unfortunate, and I don't know how to. I feel some type of way for the guys that will be at home. But to the students who are affected by ASUU strike, I know it's very easy for me to say because I'm not in your shoes, but I would just like to say that use this opportunity to learn something or do something very good for yourself. There are a lot of online courses you can take that are free. Google is your friend. You have Google Digital Skills for Africa. You can also leverage on that so that you gain a skill or two while you're at home. You can also become a content creator and put your own footprint on the digital map out there. If you're funny, you can go into comedy skits. If you have a handwork, you can film how you do this handwork and put it online, or you have a lot of resources for you to leverage on. Don't let them waste your time, so to speak. So these 2 months that you may have at home, try as much as possible to learn something new while you're at home. And you can also go through your syllabus and try to pace your own learning and self-learn all of these things that may be in your course outlines and syllabuses. And so that when you resume to school and they say come and write exam, at least you have something to write. Try as much as possible not to allow you weigh you down. And don't stay indoors all the time. Visit friends, socialize, network, and basically don't let your data waste by just going to Instagram and then scrolling through. No, make sure that whatever time you spend on any social media application at the same time is giving you something in return. Is that you're building your followership, or you're trying to build a product, or you're trying to do something that earns you some money. Hopefully ASUU and the federal government come to a conclusion very soon and call off this strike as soon as possible. The level of insecurity in the country has also been on the rise, and it's very unfortunate. We've seen different type of ritual killings, from those 2 young boys who killed their girlfriend to, there's a lot to speak from when it comes to ritual killings, when it comes to kidnapping, when it comes to all sorts of atrocities that is being perpetrated in our society. What I would like to say is, it may sound cliche, your safety is your responsibility, is your direct responsibility, is your primary responsibility. It is not a secondary thing. You don't expect other people to be responsible for your safety. Now, that said, there are lots of people that are victims of unfortunate circumstances. Such as Bamishe, she's a victim of unfortunate circumstance. It's very unfortunate and very painful that it was after she died and after what happened to her that the Lagos state government is coming out to say, when you see a BRT light off, then you know that BRT is not working. We have bus stations where BRTs are supposed to pick up passengers from. This in very okay society, and in a society where people are sane, in a society where leadership is by merit, in a society where the welfare of the country or the state is paramount to the government of that state. All these things are pasted on the bus stops. All these things are public notice. Everybody will know that before anything happens to anybody, before BRT even starts operation, there would have been a national broadcast, and there will be continuous national broadcasts to say that, so BRT, If you notice the light is on, don't enter it. It means it has closed though. And the government doesn't seem to care. Every time there are challenges or issues around security, and when it has to do with the franchises set up by the Lagos state government, or maybe the government in quote, they're always quick to defend themselves, as opposed to ensuring that justice is served, as opposed to ensuring that the people who are affected in all of these crimes are maybe justice are gotten for them. It's very unfortunate. The first thing we do, or the first thing our government does, is try to save themselves and call themselves we have put this in place, we have put this in place. So please guys, it's very, very sad, and it's very sad and very unfortunate. And I would like to say that my condolences go to the Bamishe family and every other family that have lost their loved ones to ritual killings, kidnapping. Very, very unfortunate, but may God continue to protect us. And I would like to share some tips on how you can protect yourself and how you can try as much as possible to ensure that, God forbid, we meet ourselves in those kind of situations, how you can protect yourself from such situations. So I was having a conversation with a friend, and somebody said, oh, she should have shared her location. People have a lot of opinions. Somebody said, why did she enter that bus? Unfortunately, it's very easy for us to play the blame game when things are happening. We always are very wiser than people than the victims. We are always very smart. We're always smarter than the victims. We always know what the victims should have done better, but it's very unfortunate. And I think such comments are actually very insensitive, because I was listening to a comment on social media where somebody said she should have shared her location and la. Unfortunately, God forbid, if she has shared the location with somebody where let's say she's in Lekki and she shared the location with somebody in Ikeja, and this person has decided to molest her and do whatever he did to her on that bus in Lekki, while the person she has shared location with is in Ikeja, even if that person is in Lekki, before that person gets to that location, this person may have been able to fully perpetrate the act and move on. And it's very unfortunate, because all these measures sometimes are very reactive, they are not proactive. So how do you ensure that when you find yourself in such situations, you try as much as possible to at least fight back and try to protect yourself, or prolong, by fighting back, you prolong the whatever, and whoever is going to come to save you will be able to get to you in good time. So don't be ashamed to protect yourself if you're a man or a woman. There's nothing as I'm a man when your life is in danger, when your life is threatened, and there's nothing like I'm a woman in that same breath. There are things that you can use to protect yourself. You can carry a pocket knife. Yes, please don't be. It's beginning to look like we have to protect ourselves, because the authorities that have been meted out, that have been charged with the responsibility of protecting us, are not really interested. And I also feel that the reason why these crimes are on the rise is because justice is not being meted out to people the way it should be. Like, if a case is open and closed, if somebody has done something wrong, and you've seen all the evidences, why are we waiting? Why are we adjourning the cases? Why are we waiting before we sentence them? Let's sentence them immediately. Like those guys that they found the dead bodies, of that girl with. I don't know. I don't think they've been sentenced, and I don't know why they are waiting. I don't know what you are waiting for. You found the evidences with this guy. It's different from somebody whose maybe evidences are very circumstantial, and they are still thinking that maybe somebody planted it or whatever. But people who have admitted, who even told you how they did everything, you saw the dead body with them. Why have you not tried, and why have you not sentenced them? What are you waiting for? And I think it's this kind of things that makes people, have the effrontery to do things like, okay, after all, this thing happened to this person. The child did not kill the person, even though the person killed the person. And I think that's why they continue, and I think that's why these crimes, continue to be on the rise. There's something I want to say, but if I say it, I'll be inciting violence. So I'm just going to zip it. So please, guys, let's try as much as possible to protect ourselves. If you're getting on the bus, have your pocket knife. There are tasers that are made like lipsticks that you can have in your bag. Some of them are like maybe ruler size. They are not so big. They don't really have weight like that. There are pepper sprays. You can buy pepper spray. Be a man or woman, buy pepper spray. God forbid you find yourself in unfortunate situations use your pepper spray on your attacker. Try as much as possible to put, try to protect yourself. Have, things. This story is very wild. When I was going to the office when I was still actively going to the office, working on site, I used to have a small knife. It's not even pocket knife, oh, it's this bread knife. But I feel some sort of way having it in my bag, even though I know that, God forbid, I may not be able to win the fight, or I may not even be able to use it. Maybe fear would have gripped me to the point that I won't even know what to do. But I have it. I used to have it in my bag, and my hand is usually in that bag, on that knife, as I move around at 5 a.m. in the morning, going to the bus stop to go and catch my office bus. My hand will be in that bag, holding it like my life depended on it. And guess what? My mom will be my mom usually, accompanies me to the bus stop, and sometimes I'll just be thinking that, God forbid, do what if somebody comes and attacks both of us now? I'll be trying to save my mom will be trying to save me. God forbid. It's actually not funny. But try as much as possible to have an object that you can at least use to attack your attacker if there is anything like that. And also, I've heard wild stories of people entering Uber without checking and verifying that is the Uber they ordered. You are doing something very, very dangerous. How? Uber has already provided you with basic details that you can use to verify the authenticity of the Uber driver that is coming to pick you. You have a profile picture to check. Look at the face, look at the picture. If it don't match, don't enter. Do not enter the Uber. If the plate number is different, please don't enter. If at the same time there's a difference in the color of the car, please do not enter. At least are the 3 checks I know that Uber affords you to have. The make of the car also. So 4 things: the make of the car, the color of the car, the plate number, and the driver's profile picture, and even his phone number. Now, I heard a wild story about Uber that the driver was maybe kidnapped and they stole his car, and whoever stole his car was using his car as, was continuing to use his car and his profile as Uber. So the person that found out was a passenger who was very very vigilant. She realized that this person, the face does not match the profile picture, and she said she was not going to enter. And guess what? By the time Uber investigated, she actually reported it, and by the time Uber investigated, they realized that this guy that was impersonating the driver had already completed like 15 trips, a whole 15 trips. Guys, we need to be very careful. Let's be very careful. Let's try as much as possible to be very careful. And I know it's God that is saving us, and I know it's God that is protecting us, and God in his infinite mercies will continue to protect us. And my condolences once again to the family of Bamshe and every other person that's lost, a loved one. God will continue to help you heal through the pain, and for the rest of us, God will not allow us to enter problem and enter one chance and enter any type of issues. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you again for coming to my YouTube channel. Please, while you're here, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support so far. Bye.